All right, hi everyone. I'm Amanda here at Yoga Works Fells Point. Just wanted to send you all some virtual hugs before we get started. So we're gonna come on down into Hero's Pose. If you have blocks, you can sit on them. If you don't have a block, you could sit on a pillow or roll up a blanket. So we sit in Hero's Pose with your knees on the ground, your seat on the blocks. Settle yourself in. Feel free to close your eyes. Give yourself a moment to arrive here. Today is the first day of spring, so I'd like to offer you this poem, this passage, for when we get started. You just close your eyes and open your ears. Lockdown. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But what they say, that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through the neighborhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we really have, and to what really matters, to love. So we pray and we remember that yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. And yes, there is panic, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe. Listen behind the factory noises of panic. The birds are singing again, the sky is clearing, spring is coming, and we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. So my invitation to you this evening is that every exhale through this whole practice is a song, an outstretched hand. Reach your arms all the way up overhead and grab your opposite elbows up there. And hold onto your elbows and give yourself a lift. Lift yourself up. Rise from your own depths. And notice how simply by creating this shape with your arms, you are opening up a window. Feel how the breath rushes in, how it feels swirling around inside of you. In the spirit of spring, we'll practice a pranayama, a yogic breath technique called breath of the seasons, just to formalize this breath. So take a full breath in and a full breath out. And then inhale for a count of 4 up the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold the breath at the top. 3, 2, 1. Exhale the breath down your back. 3, 2, 1. And then hold your breath out at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. And then inhale up the front. Spring rising up the front. Hold at the top. 3, 2, 1, summer ripening. Exhale down your back, autumn descending. And then hold it at the bottom. 3, 2, 1, the emptiness of winter. And then inhale it back up your front, spring rising, flowers blossoming, birds flying, bees buzzing. Hold it at the top, full of the fruits of summer. And then exhale your breath down the back, like all of the leaves descending in autumn. And then hold it empty at the bottom, that empty stillness of winter. And then once more, inhale it up the front, rising up into spring. Hold at the top, ripen into summer. Let the breath fall down your back, autumn descending. And then hold it empty at the bottom, winter. And reach your arms up the way up to the sky. And then grab your opposite elbows. And settle your head back into the frame of your arms. And to honor this day where we have balance between the amount of daylight and the amount of nighttime, we'll find a little orbit through ourselves. So turn yourself to the left and take an inhale, inhaling the sunrise. And then turn yourself to the right, exhale the sunset. And then inhale to the left, sunrise, exhale to the right, sunset. And then start to speed it up, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Keep it going a little longer, and you can imagine that you're like a caveman twirling a stick against a rock to create a spark down in the bowl of your pelvis, and let that spark start a fire that warms up your whole body. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a full breath in and hold it in at the top. Take an extra sniff through your nose, sip through your mouth, bottle it up. And then pop your cork, let it go. Arms all the way by your sides, all the way onto your lap. Take a few moments here. Feel the breath settle. Feel what has happened inside of you. And then blink your eyes open. And then take your right foot out in front of you. The heel of your right foot in line with your left knee. And then plant your hands behind you. Turn to the side so you can see. Plant your hands behind you, fingertips facing toward your feet. And then press into your palms and open up across your chest. Really shine your heart and your lungs up to the ceiling. And give them room to get big. Big breath. Maybe you find all of your left toenails rooting, both sit bones rooting. Feel your heart singing up and out. And then walk your hands back in. Take your left elbow across your right knee, and then your right hand to your sacrum. And then tip yourself forward like you were finding a back bend, still lifting your chest up, and turn yourself to the right. You can look over your right shoulder. Keep pressing your right leg into your left arm, and your left arm into your right leg. And come back to center. Take your right hand off to the right on the ground, and then sweep your left arm up and over your ear into a side bend, over, bending to the right, breathing into your left side. And you can look up to your left elbow crease, up to your left palm. And then come back to center. Bring your right shin back onto the ground, and then your left foot onto the ground. And then same thing, you can put your hands down behind you. Feel free to switch so your fingertips face backward now. And then press into your palms and pop open your lungs. Widen your collarbones. And feel the breath rising all the way up into your chest, into your throat. Root down to your right toenails. the sole of your left foot to stay embodied in your body. Feel the experience of breathing. You're going to walk your hands back in. Take your right elbow across your left knee, your left hand right onto your sacrum, and then bring your heart forward and up like you're in a back bend, and then turn to the left. And maybe even look over your left shoulder. And as you twist, keep using your left leg. Press it out into your right arm, and press your right arm back into your left leg to deepen your twist. One more breath here. And then come back forward. Let your left hand down, reach your right arm up and over your ear. And really drop down into your right sit bone. Look up at your right elbow crease or palm. And fill that whole right side up with big breaths. Good, rise all the way up. You can tuck your left shin back underneath of you and come forward into tabletop. And so in your tabletop, ensure that your hips are stacked right over your knees, your shoulders right over your wrists. And then find the tops of your feet, all your toenails, the tops of your ankles. Give yourself some roots, some stability, and press down into the whole palm. And then on your inhale, round into cat. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin in. And then as you exhale, open it up into cow. Widen across your collarbones, wag your tail up. And then inhale, round your back. Press into your palms, your shins. Exhale, cow. Bring your heart forward, flick your tail up. And keep that going a few more. Feel free to close your eyes, like you're closing the curtain at the front of your eyes and opening the curtain of your inner landscape. And once more, breathing round up into the dome of your back of your lungs. Exhale into your back bend, wide collarbones. And then come to a neutral spine. Tuck your left toes and slide your left leg back behind you. Keep the toes on the ground and fire up your leg. Make it so strong. And then from the back of your thigh, where your thigh meets your butt, lift your left leg up to hip height. And then reach your right arm forward. And then find your stability. Your left hand and your right shin, top of your foot. Root it down to lift your low belly in and up. So you start to feel the core engage, those deep core muscles. And either look down at your left thumb or forward to your right thumb. And keep rooting down to lift up. One more breath. And put your right hand down. Take your left leg all the way over to the right. Keep your toes tucked, fire up your leg, and then squeeze your right shoulder and ear toward your right hip and breathe into the left side. And then lift your left leg back up. You're going to sweep it all the way over to the left now and put the sole of the foot on the ground. So the leg is straight out of your hip over there. And then keep looking forward as you start to make big circles with your hips. Your left knee will bend each time you make a circle. And keep looking forward so it's really in the hip. And then switch the directions. Clockwise and counterclockwise, playing with the spin of time. And then come back to center. You're going to take your left knee and tuck it behind your right knee. And spread your feet wide to be on the tops of your feet. And then come onto your fingertips now and look forward. You're going to start to just circle your hips in a clockwise circle. You're really trying to break down and crack open some of the rigidity in your hips, your biggest joint. Really swirl the energy all around in there. Trying to stir it up, stirring up the waters. creating a commotion. And feel free to speed it up or keep going slow. So now you have tools. It's like different settings on a blender. You can speed it up to make a really creamy smoothie, or you can just chop, chop, chop a few times nice and slow. You can whip up milk to make butter or cream, depending on your speed. When you come to stillness, plant your hands. And keep your legs crossed and tuck your toes. And then press back to a crisscross down dog. We won't be here long. And from here, come forward toward plank. Turn both heels toward the right and reach your left arm up to the sky. And then you'll take your left foot. If you like, you can slide it back into a very easy wild thing. It's early in class. Reach over with your left arm. And then from here, we'll come back to normal down dog, legs uncrossed. Bend your knees, stretch your seat up to the sky. And really feel that the bend in your knees gets you in the hamstring by flicking your tail up rather than straightening out your legs. And you're going to keep the bend in your knees and move at your hip joint. So from your down dog, look to your thumbs. And then shift into tabletop. Just lower your knees, hover. And then back to down dog, lift your knees. And then lower your knees and lift your knees. And keep that going so you become a little pump. Or you become a little spring. You get bouncy and buoyant. Just like the season. Table, down dog for 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. And then lower your knees back to the ground. And tuck your right toes under. Slide your right leg back. From the back of the thigh, lift your leg up. And then reach your left arm forward. And then find your strength. Push down through the palm, down through the whole top of your left foot. And then lift your low belly up. So you have that strength. So you don't become a hammock down there, but you're really taut and lifted. Look at your thumb or your left thumb, right thumb or left thumb. And then put your left hand down. Take your right leg all the way to the left. Tuck the toes under, push out through the heel, and then squeeze your left side. Left shoulder, ear toward your left hip. Open your right side. One more breath into the right side. And then lift your right leg back up. You'll sweep it all the way to the right now. But straight out of your right hip. And then start those big circles in one direction. Keep looking forward as best you can. And switch the direction. And come back to center. Take your right knee behind your left knee. So your legs are crisscrossed like a little bolt between your hips and your knees. And then again, come onto your fingertips so you give yourself a little levity. And then start to spin your hips now in a counterclockwise direction. And you can imagine that your hips are sitting on a clock. And your pubic bone is 12, your tailbone is 6, your right hip is 3, your left hip is 9. And can you go backwards in time around that clock into every hour in between? You might notice there's a stuck spot. And then feel free to move it faster or stay slow so you make butter or whipped cream. Because this practice is transformative. We don't leave the same as we started. And then slow down your whipping, come to stillness, plant your hands, Tuck your toes with the crisscross and press back to down dog. And then this time we'll come forward toward plank. Your heels will drop toward the left and your right arm can lift up. You're in your side plank. And then your right leg can slide back under the ball of the foot. Give yourself a little bit more back bend, opening through your top hip. Take a few breaths. And then come back to downward facing with your normal legs, uncrossed legs. And then from your down dog, shift forward into plank and find a measure. Shoulders right over wrists and the heels right over the balls of your feet. And then from there, keep looking forward, but bend your knees back to down dog. And then straighten your legs to plank. And bend your knees to down dog. And then keep that going. In and out with your breath. Again, you can go slow or you can speed it up. In, out, in, out, in, out. And feel that you keep the back bend by looking forward with your heart, seeing with your heart, reaching your heart out the window, across the room to your neighbor. For 3, 2, and 1, downward facing dog. And then slowly walk your hands back to your feet. And find a ragdoll. Get off your hands. Maybe grab your elbows. And then release your arms to the ground. Bring your hands onto your shins and lengthen your spine forward. And bend your knees and shins forward into your hands. Make your back bend bigger. Root down into your feet and spread them wide across your mat so you're widening across your sit bones. And then exhale, fold in half. Do twice more. Inhale, lengthen. Reach your heart forward, forward. Exhale, fold. Once more. And fold. Then inhale, rise all the way up, arms to the sky. Exhale your hands to your heart. Take a moment here. Feel your feet. Feel your breath. Feel your heart beating. Feel your brain in your skull. From root to crown. And blink your eyes open. Reach your arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Do twice more. From your feet, root down and reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Do once more. Root down to rise. Sweep it up. Hands to your heart. Now bring your hands onto your hips. You can either hold onto your hips like you're bossy, or bring your hands into your hip pockets, your imaginary hip pockets. And then squeeze your elbows back behind you. Use that squeeze of the elbows back to open up across your collarbones and reach your chest forward and up, up, up. And think up rather than back. And then keep this back bend. Start to bend your knees. You might almost feel like your hips are lifting up into your hands. A little high five. And keep bending your knees, hinging at your hips until you drape yourself all the way over your legs. And release your arms to the ground. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then plant your hands in nice and slow, like your hands were feet. Palm them one at a time, all the way forward into plank pose. We'll meet in our plank pose. And then in your plank pose, imagine there's a big birthday cake in between your palms. You're gonna take a big breath in, and then blow out all the candles. And then again, inhale, blow out all the candles, and feel your low belly drop up, 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 up as you press the air out. And then once more, inhale. Exhale, blow out all the candles, hold the breath out, and lower it onto the ground. And then breathe. Feel your breath pressing into the ground, expanding out. your center. And keep your elbows tapped back behind you. Use your palms like little tiger claws to pull your heart through into cobra. And then exhale, lower it down. Good, twice more. Pull yourself through, elbows back. Exhale, lower. Once more, pull forward and up. Exhale, lower down. You can press yourself up to plank or tabletop. And back to downward facing. Take 3 deep breaths here. Keep a bend in your knees. So instead of straight legs and a round back, bend your knees and find that crescendo through your spine. Feel like you're sitting on the ceiling. And then look to your hands, and you can step, hop, or float your feet up to your hands. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Again, take your hands onto your hips, into your pockets. Hug your elbows back, pop your lungs up. And as you reach your heart up to the ceiling, start to bend your knees and drop your sit bones down. And then flick your tail out behind you as you fold, nice and easy over your legs, leading with your heart, singing with your heart. Until you're all the way down, relax your head, relax your arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, plank pose. Again, take a big breath in, and then blow it all out. Inhale. Full exhale. Lift your low belly up. Once more, inhale. Blow all the breath out, all the candles. Hold the breath out as you lower all the way to the ground. So you're so strong in your deep core muscles. And then same as before, untuck your toes. Just start, use your palms like tiger claws, elbows back, and pull your heart through. And then reach your arms forward. Your palms can face the ground. And then as you exhale, cactus your arms and lift your heart higher, elbows back. And then inhale, reach forward. And then exhale, pull it back. If you're pulling on a lat bar, and once more, reach forward. And then bend your elbows, pull it back. Plant your hands, press back to down dog. And find that crescendo, that wave through your whole spine. Lengthen your neck and the crown of your head toward your thumbs. Give yourself a neck, give yourself collarbones east to west so you have a horizon. And then look forward and step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. This time, bring your arms behind your back, and if you can, interlock your fingers. If you need to, you can grab a dish rag or you can grab a strap to help you back there. Let's start with your elbows bent, and again, squeeze them behind you. And with your elbows bent, pop open your lungs, your chest, and then start the process of straightening your arms, but keep all that beautiful width across your collarbones. And then bend your knees and slowly start to drape belly, ribs, chest back over your thighs. And you can reach your fists up and let your head be heavy. Feel as though your head is so heavy, it's like a bowling ball on a string. Open up across your collarbones, reach up through your fists. And then gently release your hands to the ground. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back to plank pose. And just once, take a full breath in. Exhale all the breath out. Lower all the way to your belly. And bring your hands wide on the mat so your fingertips are actually under your elbows. Untuck your toes, find the tops of your feet. Then on your inhale, press into your fingertips and lift your chest. Okay, then keep pressing into your fingertips to help your elbows squeeze backward behind you to lift up. And then exhale, wave it back down even longer than you started. And then inhale, root into your fingertips, lift your chest. Squeeze your elbows in to reach your chest higher. And then exhale, wave it down even longer. Good, once more, into the fingertips, open up your chest. Put your elbows in, pop your lungs forward. And then exhale, lower it all the way down. If your choice, plank or tabletop, back to downward facing. 3 breaths here. In and out through your nose. And look forward and step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And reach your arms to the sky and grab your opposite elbows again up there. And really settle your head in the frame. Root down through your feet, lift up through your sternum, up through your elbows. Draw your navel in and up so you're strong in your lower half. And then keep holding onto your elbows as you start the elevator down into chair pose. Bend your knees, flick your tail, lift your belly in and up. And then reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Wrap your arms around your legs. If you can, hold on to opposite elbows behind your legs. Bend your knees as much as you need. Get close to yourself. You might be the only person you get a hug from today, but I hope that's not true. And release your hands to the ground. Lengthen your spine. Step your left foot back for a long lunge. Widen your hands to 10 and 2. So if you saw me from the front, my hands are wide to 10 and 2 on the fingertips. So your legs are really what's holding your grounds for you. Right knee at 90. And look forward. Float your fingers and sweep them behind you. And then rise all the way up to a high lunge. Stay buoyant on this back foot. If you feel it collapsing, it's going to be harder in the leg. So lift your left leg up, left thigh up, and bring your lungs forward. And grab onto your left wrist with your right hand. Take an easy side bend toward the right. Open up your left side. Strong left leg, buoyant thigh. Buoyancy of spring. And come back to center. Plant your left hand down, reach your right arm up into an easy twist. Easy. And stack your right shoulder right over your left. Right collarbone right over your left. So you are a straight arrow from your left heel out the crown of your head. And then reach your palm, right palm to the ground. Step it back to plank pose. Side plank on your right hand. Feel free to stagger your feet, lift your left arm up. You need to drop your right knee. Reach your left arm over your ear. And then maybe look up under your armpit. And then come back to plank pose. From your plank pose, lower your knees to the mat. And then your chest and chin to the mat, so your booty's in the air. Put your elbows back. Lift your navel up. And then from there, keep this back bend as you pull it through into cobra. Maybe all the way into upward facing. And we'll meet in downward facing. One more full breath here. Get long, get breathy. And then step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then again, arms to the sky. Grab your opposite elbow. Put the weird one, the non-habitual one in front. And then find your anchors, your feet, your navel, your fuel. And then throw up your sail, your lungs, catch some wind. And then keep reaching up as you slowly start to drop your anchor into the water, lowering your hips, bending your knees, into chair pose. And then reach your arms up and fold in half. And again, wrap your arms around your legs. Maybe you grab opposite elbows, or maybe you hold on to the back of your ankles and have your elbows back behind you. Again, a big bend in your knee, or however big you need it. So you can be close to yourself, get out of your back. And then let that go, lengthen your spine. And then plant your hands, step your right foot back. Long lunge, widen your hands left and right to 10 and 2. And find the measures. So the measures are precise because we want to make the best recipe possible. 90 degrees, level hips, lift your fingers, loop them back, and rise up with strong, buoyant legs, especially your right leg. Lift the right thigh, push down into the ball of the right foot. Breathe open through the lungs. You can grab your right wrist and lean toward the left, just as much as your body allows. Put a little bit more breath into that space. And come back to center. Plant your right hand down, sweep your left arm up for a twist. And keep shooting from the right heel all the way out through the crown of your head. And turning through your torso. And then plant your left hand, step it back to plank pose. And we'll find side plank on your left. Again, you can put the left shin on the ground. You can stagger your feet. Maybe reach your arm overhead and look up. And then bring your hands back to the ground to your plank pose. Exhale your knees, chest, and chin. Land here, hug your elbows back, lift your belly in and up. And then keep the back bend and wave it through. Cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And reach your head and neck away from your hips toward your thumbs. Reach your hips up into the ceiling. And then look forward, step or float your feet up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. And exhale your hands to your heart. Okay, so for this next step, if you don't have a blanket, you can roll up a little piece of your mat. Just the back of your mat. Maybe a third of the way. And then you'll step on it with your heels, so you have a little high-heeled shoe on. And then you just fold over it. Keep your knees bent, so your knees are actually almost in your armpits. And then if you want, you can stay just like this, hold on to the backs of your ankles, and look forward. Or you can pick up your heels, slide your fingers under your heels, and bend your knees more, look forward. And then to take it even further, lift your heels so you're bouncing on the balls of your feet and look forward. And then to add some buoyancy of springtime, maybe you take 10 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let it go. Sigh it out through your mouth. Let the back of your mat unroll. And then make your way back to a down dog, whether you need to walk forward or backward. I don't know where you are or where I am anymore. And then you'll lunge your right foot forward outside of your right hand. Okay, spin your left heel to the ground, but keep yourself in 2 lanes. Your right foot in a right lane, your left foot in a left lane, rather than on a tightrope. And your right knee will be bent to 90 like warrior 2. We're going to stay low. Walk your hands over to the left for down dog lunge. So it's like your upper body's in down dog and your legs are in warrior 2. And do your best to really press down through the whole right foot and out through the right knee. Press your right knee to the right. And then walk your hands back in. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Sweep your right leg up and back. Stack your hip and bend your knee. And feel free to stay right here. Lift your left armpit up. Keep it buoyant. Or flip over into wild thing. Right ball of the foot to the ground. Right arm up and over, turning your left ribs toward the ceiling. And then come back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then lunge your left foot forward outside of your left hand. Anchor your right heel to the ground, standing on 2 lanes of your mat or of your floor. And then walk your hands over to the right. So you get long through both sides of your waist, out of your hips, but your legs stay really sturdy. And you press your left knee to the left, but root through the whole foot. And walk your hands back in. Sweep your left leg up and back, stack your hip, bend your knee. Lift your right armpit up, lengthen your neck. Stay there or flip it all the way over into wild thing. Ball of your left foot down, open up across your chest, your collarbones, and lift your right ribs up. And then come back to downward facing. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And then again, lunge your right foot forward. This time we're going to use blocks if you have them. If you don't worry about it. You're just going to work harder. That doesn't matter. It won't kill you. All right, so the blocks, as you can see, are going under the left thigh. First block is on the lowest height. Second block at an angle on the highest height to support your thigh. And you're widening your right foot over to the right for lizard pose. You plant your hands like you were in a plank. And then in this pose, whether you have the blocks or not, you can really do it without the blocks. Flick your tail up like you were in a cow pose, finding a back bend. And if you keep that left heel really lifted, the left thigh really buoyant, you don't need the blocks. The blocks are just scaffolds. They're helpful, especially if you're tired. So from here, you're going to take your right toes and turn them over to the right. Let's go back a little bit. So now you're angled over to the right, but your hands are going to go over to the left, just like that down dog lunge. If you've got the blocks under the thighs, leave them there. If not, you got to work really hard to keep your leg buoyant. You stay on the left fingertips or the left palm, and then sweep your right arm up and over your ear, and turn your heart to the sky. So now you're in a twist, you're in a side bend, and you're in a back bend. And then press out through your right thigh, but root down through your right big toe mound. Release your hands to the ground. Turn your right toes back forward. You have the blocks under your legs, move them out the way. Anchor your left heel to the ground and rise up to warrior two. And wide with your collarbones and your shoulder blades. One more breath here. Inhale, revolve, sweep it up and back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Sweep your right leg up and back. Stack your hip, bend your knee. Again, feel free to stay here or flip your dog over again. And then maybe this time your right hand comes behind your back and helps to support and open up your right collarbone. Lifting up the middle of your back, widening your right collarbone. And then come back to downward facing. You'll find the same thing on the other side. Lunge your left foot forward. And if you are using them, set up the scaffold of your blocks under your right thigh. If you're not using them, no problem. And then plant your hands right inside your left foot. So again, you're at this 90 degrees, and so are your shoulder joints. And then wherever you are, on the block or not, flick your tail up like you were in a cow pose. Get buoyant through that back leg. Might not even need them. Breathe into your left lung and your left thigh. And then you can turn your left toes out to the left. You might even walk your foot over to the left once or twice. And walk your hands over to the right. And so your left foot is at 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and your hands are at 2 o'clock. And you can plant your right hand and sweep your left arm up and over your ear. You find a side bend, a back bend, and a twist. Fire up that back leg. Press down through the left foot, out through the left outer knee, and spiral your heart open. And bring your hands back in. Walk your toes back in, face forward. Lift up off the blocks. Anchor your right heel to the ground. And then rise yourself up into warrior two. Reach for your collarbones and your shoulder blades. And feel your exhale singing out through the window across to your neighbor. Inhale, revolve. Exhale, hands to the ground. Sweep your left leg up. Stack your hip, bend your knee. And if you like, flip it over one more time like this. Arm over your head or arm all the way behind your back. And see my fingers. And use that to almost like a bar to back bend over. Widen your left collarbone. And then come back to downward facing. And last little standing set here. Lunge your right foot forward. Lower your left knee. Untuck your toes. And then rise up, Anjaneyasana. And instead of sinking forward toward that right leg, can you squeeze both legs toward one another so you rise up? Feel free to grab your elbows, interlock your hands behind you, or even hold on to the back of your head and squeeze your elbows together. And whatever you've got, whatever you're handling, more up than back. Grow up out of your hips. Give yourself a lift and rise. Lift yourself up. You have the tools and the power to do that. You don't need to rely on anybody else. And release your hands to the ground. Tuck your left toes and step your left foot up to meet your right foot and fold in half. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. And exhale your hands to your heart. And bring your hands to your hips. We're going to stand in the right foot, balance in the right foot, and bend your left knee behind you. You can catch your left foot on the inside and bring your right hand to your chest. Or if you're going for both, catch your left foot on the outside with your left hand and then bring your right hand around and grab it as well. And then whatever you got, kick your foot back to open up your lungs. Use the power of your legs to breathe them open. Whether you're here kicking or with one kicking. And back to center. Give your left knee a little squeeze into your belly. And put your left foot down to meet your right foot. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale to lengthen. And then step your left foot back again, your left knee down. So we'll find a very similar pose that we just found before. If you do have a block, I like to put one at the front of my thigh, but no worries. You're gonna take that right foot and turn it out to the right again and toe heel it over to the right. So it's aiming toward your 2 o'clock, like that. And then again, you're gonna walk your hands over to the left. You can stay just like this. You can reach your right arm over your ear into your back bend, or you can sweep your arm behind you, bend your left knee, catch your foot, catch your heel, kick it back, reach your head toward your foot. And a big back bend, you become a sphere. After all these angles and measures, you become a sphere unto yourself. And one more breath. And gently release your leg, your hands, turn your toes back in, right toes back in. And then we'll shift it back into Ardha Hanumanasana. Flex your whole right foot, pull your pinky toe back. Push the big toe mound forward like a gas pedal. Folding over that right leg to your capacity. Keep the knee as bent as you need so it doesn't feel pain. Maybe it feels challenging. Use your breath. Powerful and potent breath. And we're going to walk ourselves back to sit inside of the left foot. So if you need to, sit on pillows or a block just like we started. You plant the right foot back on the ground. If you don't need to, just move the block out of the way and sit all the way on the ground. So in half Virasana, hero's pose. And then from there, you can repeat what we did before. Hands on the ground, puff your chest up. Or maybe you root down into the left shin and the right foot and lift both hips up. You can breathe like that, or if you have more range of motion in your spine, you can lower onto your forearms or all the way onto your back. And take a few breaths. I like to hold my heel with my left hand and push it forward. Two more breaths here. Help yourself back up. Come onto the right foot. And step your left foot next to your right foot and fold. Plant your hands. Step yourself back to plank, back to down dog. Bend your knees, stretch your seat up and back. Lengthen your neck. And then we'll lunge your left foot forward. Lower your right knee down for Anjaneyasana. Untuck your toes, find the whole top of your foot. And rise up. Squeeze your inner legs together to get a rise. Use your hands if you like to give you more lift. Open up the windows of your lungs, your armpits, your collarbones. Release your hands to the ground. Tuck your right toes and step your right foot up to meet your left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Big breath, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And this time we'll balance on the left leg and bend your right knee behind you. Hold on to the inside of the ankle with your right hand if you're just going one-handed. A left hand can come to your heart. Or hold on to the outside and maybe you go two-handed. And then kick the foot back. Keep your arms straight and strong like metal and let them pop open your lungs. Metal is the element of lungs. And lungs is the organ of transition. Always in transition. Inhale to exhale to inhale. Come back to center. Hug your right knee into your belly. And a little squeeze. And then put your right foot down. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lengthen. And then step your right foot back again. Lower your knee. Untuck your toes. And so if you like to put that block back in front of your thigh, you can lean on it. It'll keep you from going too deep in the hips so you can get more open in the heart. So wiggle your left foot over and then turn it out, but stay on the whole foot. It's your anchor. Your right foot's your rudder. And then walk your hands over to the right. Stay here and reach your left arm over your ear. Find a side bend, back bend, twist. Or reach your left arm back. Bend your knee, catch your foot. Give it a kick again. Open up through the top of your lungs, your throat. Reach your crown of your head through your toes. Become a sphere. Feel your sphere expanding and contracting with each inhale. Expanding in all directions. Contracting from all directions. One more breath. And then let it go. Hands back to the ground. Turn your left toes forward. And then shift yourself back into half split, Ardha Hanuman. Keep your left knee as bent as you need it. Really flex through the left foot. Push the left ball, big toe ball forward like a gas pedal. Peel the pinky toe back. Feel how that changes what's happening in your hamstring. We'll start to make our way back into reclined half hero, Supta Ardha Virasana. So if you need to, again, sit on the blocks or the pillows that you have at your house, or sit all the way on the ground. Put your left foot down. Hands behind you. So options are here. Puff your chest up. Lift up and puff your chest up. Or lower back down and lay down on your forearms. Or all the way on your back. You can hold on to your right heel and press it forward. Feel your breath come. Big full breaths in and out. Once more, make your way back up. Come forward onto your left foot. And step your right foot up to meet your left. Last time, fold in half. And coil your feet as wide as your mat. You may even turn your toes out a lot or a little and lower yourself down into yogi squat. In your yogi squat, you can close your eyes, feel your feet. When you lift your hips up 1 or 2 inches and get more back bend and breath into your upper lungs, upper back. And then open your eyes. With or without your hands, set yourself all the way down. And we'll once more find a seat on our blocks or our pillows with both legs. You can sit on 1 or 2. Build yourself a throne. So before we lay all the way down and find our final finishing poses, we're going to find one more round of breath work. This is the breath of self-soothing. And I found it to be really nice, especially because we can't be in physical contact with one another as often anymore. So you're going to take your hands and put your pointer finger blades under each armpit, like you were in the movie Superstar. And get them really up in there so that when you drop your elbows, they kind of feel stuck in there. And then very slight, drop your chin toward your chest. Not all the way down, just a little drop toward your chest, and close your eyes. So I'll describe the breath and then we'll practice it together. So you're going to inhale for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 4, and then hold the breath out for a count of 8. And then we'll just repeat that cycle a few times. I'll count through the first few, and then you can start the count on your own. Take a full breath in, and a full breath out. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold out, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that going. Inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4, holding out for 8. And each time you inhale, you can really feel your lungs expanding outward in all directions, all the way into the skin of your palms. Each time you exhale, you feel them contracting back in. You feel their spongy pliancy, their elasticity. The exhale, the holding of the breath out rather, is where the magic is. As you hold the breath out in that empty stillness, you can listen to the beat of your heart. You can feel your senses. You can become aware of all of that life that is happening inside of you. So much still happening inside of you, even though it might not be true outside of you. Become so curious and aware of all that is happening within. And know that this is always happening and always here for you. This breath and this magic. Take one more round in, out, and hold. Feel and hear and listen. And then breathe naturally and let your hands float to your lap. Notice what happens. Blink your eyes open. You can remove your blocks, come all the way onto your back, and we'll take a spinal twist before we rest in Shavasana. Lay all the way down onto your back. Hug your knees into your belly. And then if you like, you can wrap your right leg around your left leg like an eagle pose, Garudasana, or you can just keep your knees stacked. And then we'll bump the hips over to the right and the knees over to the left. And then let yourself just surrender to gravity here. Feel the breath. Let that breath be the only thing that's happening right now. Give yourself that therapy, that gift, presence. As you're ready, you can unwind your legs, come back to center. Bring your hips back to center, give yourself a hug. And you can wrap your left leg around your right or just keep them stacked. Bump your hips to the left and drop your knees to the right. And again, let yourself surrender to the force of gravity. Allow yourself to be held by all that is around you. Held by the ground below you, held by the air above you, held by all of those who are breathing and practicing with us, all of those who are singing across the square with our hearts. Back to center. Unwind your legs, come onto your back here. And then if you do have a block, you can lift your hips and slide the block under your hips and lift your legs up to the sky. You can also scoot your mat to a wall, or don't even worry about the mat if you have a carpet or whatever, and put your legs up the wall. If you have neither option, you can sit on your hands, palms face down, and that'll give you a little bit of lift to extend your legs up. Let, again, gravity take control of your lymph. Fluid in your feet, your calves, drain down back toward your heart. Close your eyes and do about 10 more breaths here. Feel free to move your ankles around or your toes, or just be still and let the breath be what moves you. more inhale. And exhale. And if your legs are up the wall, stay at the wall, but slide your legs down so your feet are on the wall and it's like you're in a happy baby pose against the wall. If you're on the block or your hands, get off of that, hug your knees in, and then find happy baby pose here. Hold on to the soles of your feet, pull it out with your hands and push up with your feet and open up across not only your hamstrings, but the back of your pelvis. And the push and the pull and mediate those opposites. And then you can hug your knees back in, extend your legs forward into Shavasana. And if you're at the wall, feel free to put your legs back up the wall for Shavasana. Now we'll be here for 5 minutes and I'll bring us back together for our final breathing. So settle into yourself, take a big breath in, then out through your mouth. Once more, big breath in, and imagine that collective sigh. Let go of your breath. Let it move in and out naturally. Allow your whole body to be heavy and soft. You relax every muscle around every bone. We use the practice to fold ourselves, our piece of paper, into an origami cup. We use our breath to fill that cup up. Now we wait. We hold it and wait for the rain, the grace to fall, to catch it. Easy stillness. Take a deep breath in. Full breath out. Continue that conscious control of your breath in and out through your nose. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. Sing with your heart. Sing with every exhale. The compassion that we are all in the same world together. On the same planet, going through the same stuff together. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for longer or join me back in the seat. However you're postured now, bring your hands to your heart. And as always, take a moment for gratitude for yourself, your body, your breath, your mind, your wisdom, your spirit. Send that gratitude down into every cell. We'll share it with each other and with the world, just through a round of breath. Take a full breath in together. Collective exhale. And thank you for sharing yourself, your virtual space and time. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I love you so much. Hugs, 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 hugs.